I cooked these for 25 minutes and I stuck a skewer in and it came out just clean. They smell wonderful. I'm so excited. So I am going to take those out. Look, this is so clever. Now I can just lift them like this and leave them on the tray to cool. And look, the cases are still perfect. This was really a made-uppy recipe. Apple, crumble, custard, muffins. I am the mother of procrastination. Okay, let's get this apple crumble custard muffin made. First part, make the crumble, and I'm just winging it. So I'm going to put, we need very little crumble. You can do this and crumb it by hand if you want to, but I don't have time today. So I have 50 grams of butter and I'm going to put in 50 grams of flour. And I'm going to put in 20 grams of oats. Into that, I'm adding a little nutmeg. You can add cinnamon, you can add clove. I'm just adding half a teaspoon of nutmeg. I'm loving the gem golden castor sugar at the moment, so I'm putting 50 grams of sugar in here as well. So everything is going in. And then I'm going to blitz that together. If you do this by hand, you crumb the butter and flour together, and then you add all the other ingredients, and it'll be a little chunkier than this way. I love nutmeg, and that's it. It's a nice biscuit crumb. Put that away. So I'm winging this and I'm going to share it no matter what. So I need some butter and I'm going to put in whatever is here because this feels like the right quantity. So that is 100 grams of butter. Perfect. 100 grams of butter. Now that's very soft, so that'll take about 10 seconds in the microwave only to make it soft enough to work in my recipe. So you can see that's not melted, but look how soft it is. That's going to work. Everyone needs one of these to rest your thingies on. I'm actually going to use this custard because some people have said their baking worked really well with the ready to serve custard. So you know what? I'm going to try that today. Okay, so I have 100 grams of butter. I'm going to put, let's see, 250 of my custard. Mix that well together. Into that I'm going to put 2 eggs. So there are 102 grams between the 2 medium eggs. So a medium egg weighs about 50 grams. Into that I'm putting a generous, tablespoon of homemade vanilla. Into this I'm going to put 350 grams of plain flour into the bowl. I'm putting 150 grams of caster sugar and I'm putting baking powder. 250 grams takes 2.5 teaspoons, so 350 grams will take a generous tablespoon. It's not piled high, there's just about an extra half a teaspoon on it. I'm going to add a little mixed spice. I'm adding mixed spice because my daughter does not eat cinnamon. So I'm putting mixed spice in, but you feel free to add cinnamon instead. I'm just going to use about a teaspoon's worth. That's all. I'm just going to mix those together. This is stewed apple. All I did was I cooked it in a little bit of water, enough water that it cooked, and I put in a few extra bits of apple after the first bit of it pureed so that I have some texture in my apple. So if you look, you can see what I'm talking about. Do you see that? You can see there are pieces of apple in there, but they're soft. Now, I'm going to add a generous amount of apple because someone said, I can't taste the apple in these. So let's try. Oops. There's 290 in there. Now I'm going to mix that through my dry mix, just like that. Do you see how through other I am today? Spilling everywhere. A Clean counter, don't waste it. There we go. I'm very excited to see how this works. It could be a complete and utter disaster. I'm going to mix that with my whisk. If the whisk gets a little bit stuck, you can always change to the wooden spoon. Don't fret about that. Not too much mixing in this, remember? If you overmix this, it tends to get kind of tough when you cook it. I'm going to use my trusty ice cream scoop, and here's a little trick that I use. This method works really well. I use just my ordinary muffin cases and I put them under my lovely Bridget's liners. It means that these come out clean with no grease on them. And I reuse those muffin liners all the time, so it's not waste. I'll get 12 very generous muffins out of this. I'm just going to fill with a generous scoop first, and then I'll come back to them all and do a little more filling. You get used to this with practice. Bear in mind I've made thousands of these. Now I have 12. I have a little bit of mix left. Never waste, never waste. And I'm just going to divide that between the ones that look a little smaller than the others. Get in with a spatula. Don't waste any of it. Last item, the crumble topping. So there they are, nicely filled. Crumble topping. Do you know what? A tablespoon. Little less than a tablespoon on each. 3/4 of a tablespoon on each. And because I blitzed this everything together, it means you should get the mix right on the crumble topping. When I made these before, there was a lot of flour, not a lot of the sugar, not a lot of the butter, but this way, by mixing my crumble completely in the food processor, it's all blitzed nicely. And there they are. So they're going to go into a 180 Celsius fan oven for about 25 minutes, maybe 30. And once they come out, I'm going to rest them on a tray, a wire rack, and leave them. You don't eat these hot because the papers won't come off. You let them cool a little bit and then the papers come off beautifully. Here we go. I hope this works.